because we are open right now for volunteers and interns here in Belize.
Awesome. Also, just as well, like my role is like a slightly, I'm kind of in like the middle. So I'm in the middle between like sort of full-time staff at CRC, so joining in with all of that kind of stuff, and then directing, it's so bright, directing some of the surveys and things myself, and then directing the volunteers there. So I suppose it's like a volunteer leadership program to sort of take a graduate and someone fresh out of school and give them the skills to go on in the world of science and also in the world of conservation as well. So like it's a more longer term role that they have on sort of like a rolling contract for between 6 months and a year. I need to get like a slight tan before.
That's all good. That's all good. So Shine Science just asked in the question box here, is it a paid internship or do you sort of have to pay to be out there?
So because it's like a mentorship, you are paying a fee, and that goes to your accommodation while you're here, as well as all the equipment that you would need here, all the travel that you would need here, CRC t-shirt that you will get. And then a percentage of that would be going towards just our local conservation efforts.
No, awesome. I mean, you sold me at the t-shirt there. Just the fact that you could get a CRC, you have me sold. Another question that was sent in was by Dai. I think that's how I could be wrong, so I do apologize if I said your name wrong. What would happen if a Jaguar was to spot a group of people camping in the night?
So that's sort of happened to us. I mean, you would be really, really lucky, if anything. Like, seeing a Jaguar here is exceptionally special, quite rare. And to be honest, they're pretty scared of people. Like, they haven't been habituated like some of the African species on safari and things like that. Because I know people who have camped out in Africa and they have lions around their tents. They're pretty much, their aim is to stay away from people as much as possible. But out on our terrestrial survey a couple of weeks ago, the three of us were out just sort of walking around the savannah in the wilderness, and we were like shining our torches, and there was two big green eyes, like massive discs, staring at us and blinking at the same time. And we thought, this is it, our Jaguar moment. And we all got really close together, and our hearts like started beating in our ears. And I was like, Jared, do you have your knife just in case? And then we're looking at this Jaguar and it's blinking back at us, and then the two eyes separate and they fly away. And it was just this nightjar, and we were absolutely gutted. But we have had a Jaguar that's been hanging about on our land. Like, we see footprints, scat, we catch them on the camera trap. So they are about, but they just tend to avoid us, unfortunately.
Oh, that's
and I've encountered a Jaguar about 10 feet away from me, and I woke up really early in the morning to go look for snakes, and was in this very small path, and I see something black moving. I'm like, howler monkeys aren't, I mean, you hear that they will go on land, but not really. And all of a sudden you just see the face that comes out. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's a black Jaguar. And I had heard that there was a black Jaguar in the area. It sniffed and just kept walking away. Like, I mean, if it wanted to attack me, it could have. But again, these Jaguars, they do not see humans as prey. They eat armadillo, gibnut, so they eat small prey. There's never been a Jaguar attack here in Belize, in regards of, a wild Jaguar. There's never been an attack here in Belize. So they are not out to seek humans. They are afraid of humans. And it's similar here with even the crocs. Like, the crocs are very wary. Our American crocodile species, they are timid and shy as is, like, that's just part of their nature. But there's something to say in regards of Jaguars and crocodiles, the mothers passing on to the cubs or to the hatchlings, like, you see that two-legged animal, stay away, because they do not want anything to do with humans.
No, I don't blame them. I mean, we're a pretty annoying species, to be honest, so I don't blame them for wanting nothing to do with us. But it's two incredible stories there. I mean, I love hearing that sort of stuff. I mean, I've had the lion encounter, I've had the cheetah leopard encounters, but a Jaguar is still on my list of animals to see in the wild. You just had a comment sent in. The needy villager says it was worth every penny. So I'm assuming they've been out with you guys, and they've enjoyed time out there. And that brings me
Hi,
This brings me nicely onto a question aimed at Ellie. And Ellie, don't feel any pressure to be overly nice. I know your boss is technically sat next to you, but what has been your favorite and best experience about being with the CRC?
Oh my gosh, this is a really difficult one. So I think I'm probably just going to go for the experience in general, because it's allowed me to come out here and not only discover the animals and a lot of things I didn't know anything about. So in like 3 months, I've gone from all crocodiles got to be careful to standing in a croc enclosure feeding Sam, and just like I adore her. Like they are such fabulous creatures, but also coming to a country that I didn't really know and being able to explore like the culture, the food, like the whole umbrella that the CRC covers in coming here, like not just staying within my lane, like with like birds and ecology is that kind of my thing, and being able to have the opportunity to do anything. So I sort of said, oh, I haven't done a capture survey yet. So I turned to Marissa and I was like, I fancy doing that. So I've been on 2 the last couple of weeks and like out searching with a nightlight for crocodiles and things. I think, to be honest, I couldn't pick one standout experience. It's probably just it as a whole, and being able to experience Belize like as it is, like an incredible country and all of the wildlife that comes with it. And to be honest, one experience would probably be like every morning, like a couple of mornings a week, we go out on bird surveys and like the sun's rising, you're in a kayak, it's like absolutely beautiful. And sometimes there's dolphins. It happened once, like that's pretty cool. And just like hearing all of these birds before people wake up has just been like an incredible experience, especially compared to the UK. Like it's so diverse. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. You've sold it to me now. That sounds. I mean, with working with these ambassadors, because if I remember, you said is it 3 ambassadors you've got, if I remember correctly. But when working with them, do they keep you on your toes? Do you ever find that you sort of relax too much and then they do something like, oh, okay, I'm working with some potentially dangerous creatures?
it's Mad Max who you have to worry about. So we have 3 crocodile ambassadors, and then we have 1 Mesoamerican slider. Her name is Mad Max, and she is in the same enclosure as a 10-foot more or less crocodile, and I don't have to worry about the 10-foot more or less crocodile. I have to worry about the turtle that's going to try to bite my toes off, because she really has. Like, she's like, no, give me my food now, and she's like starts going after your toes, and it's like she's frightening. Like she is the one that you have to worry about.
She like pops her head up and you sort of see her and like there she is, and then she'll come up over there and you're like, quickly get away. Like that's why we have the escape route in the croc enclosures. Like I think we've had a couple of times like Eamon has splashed you and you can see that he's powerful, but mostly they're just happy to get their food, interact, think a little bit about what they're doing, and then go back into their ponds and live, really. Like not really too scared of them.
No, yeah.
And Sam has no teeth. So.
Yes, and Sam has no teeth. She just has a couple of little nubs, and that's just from a poor diet, about 30, 40 years of a poor diet, but also living in a stressful environment. So one thing that I noticed the last 2 years before Gilly and Sam became permanent residents with the CRC, as we adopted them about 2 years ago, but I was still visiting them at their old place. And so I realized Gilly and Sam had been living with each other, but not necessarily were the best of mates anymore. And Gilly would bully Sam, who's the smaller croc, a lot, try to get her away from food. And so right before we moved him down to the CRC, Gilly was keeping Sam out of the water. And so when we finally got Sam, she was highly dehydrated. She was anemic. And so we have now, they've been together about 30, 40 years, but they're now living separate. Gilly is with Mad Max because Mad Max tends to keep Gilly in check and line. The Mesoamerican turtle biting up the 10-foot crocodile. And but Sam now is in her own little bachelorette pad, and I mean you could just see her behavior. She's just so much more relaxed. I've studied crocodiles for quite a long time, and if I could say this crocodile is happy, this crocodile is happy to be on her own now. So we're just gonna keep them separated for now on.
No, that's incredible. That's the fact that a turtle is beating up a 10-foot more or less crocodile is incredible. It must be really
icon.
She is an icon. She is. So we have these funny, amazing videos of Mad Max terrorizing the two crocodiles, Gilly and Sam. You can find them on our social media or our YouTube. Our YouTube is just Crocodile Research Coalition. I mean, there are times where I'm laughing so hard I have tears in my eyes from this turtle. Like, she is just, there's a reason her name is Mad Max. Like, that was the perfect name the previous owners gave her, because she is just a little terror.
I love it.